What a tale of two games for the Toronto Blue Jays. Yesterday, the second game of the doubleheader. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to post that video for you guys, but I'm here talking about that one, and I'm talking about the absolutely insane game that we saw today at Rogers Center. Let's start with yesterday's game, get through that one quickly so we can talk about probably the craziest moment of the year for the Toronto Blue Jays that happened later on this afternoon. First off, yesterday, Jose Barrios got the start for the Blue Jays, and he was fantastic. It's just unfortunate that the Jays' offense was nowhere to be found. They had the lead, though. The Jays took a 1-0 lead in the bottom half of the fourth inning as Breivik Valera hit a two-out RBI double scoring Bo Bichette, giving the Jays the lead. You move ahead to the top of the sixth inning. The Jays doing really well to this point. Pitching-wise, defense, the offense hasn't got going, but you got a 1-0 lead. But then Alex Verdugo hits a solo bomb off of Jose Barrios to break his shutout streak as a Toronto Blue Jay and to tie the game at 1 apiece. And then we go to extra innings where the Blue Jays have been absolutely useless this year, and it continues as Arauz hits an RBI single, and in comes Frankie Cordero, to bring home, I guess, the go-ahead run off of Adam Simber. And the Blue Jays can't get it done in the bottom half of the eighth inning and lose it 2-1. Quick notes, Corey Dickerson, he's done pretty well so far as a Toronto Blue Jay, went 2 for 2 in the game. But the Jays only had 6 hits. They struck out 12 times over those 8 innings. Not a very pretty offense performance. You lose 2-1. You drop to 59-50. You could have taken that game and won, 5 or 6 in a row. You could have been feeling really great. Instead, you lose it. And now they have a chance to possibly split this 4-game set, which would be an absolute disaster for the Toronto Blue Jays. Quickly through the pitching stats of that game, Jose Barrios, 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 run, the solo bomb, and struck out 6. Didn't walk a batter, so he was great. Trevor Richards got into some trouble, had the first two guys on, allowed a hit and a walk, but got a strikeout. Reese McGuire with a great throw out at third base, and he kept it tied at the time. Then Adam Simber comes in, obviously, in the extra inning affair with a guy at second base, and he gives up a leadoff single, obviously, to Arauz. But he goes 2/3 inning, allows 2 hits, 1 run, obviously the game-winning run. It's unfortunate for Adam Simber how good he's been for this team this year. And then Brad Hand comes out, gets the final out of the top half of the eighth inning to give the Jays a chance, but obviously that didn't happen. Now, with that loss, our focus turns to today's game. Hyunjin Ryu got the ball for the Blue Jays against Garrett Richards of the Boston Red Sox. And if you look at the numbers specifically, I mean, the Jays should light this guy up. ERA north 5, they did a pretty good job against him this year. Ryu, against his last outing against the Red Sox, he was fantastic. His last couple outings, he's been phenomenal. But it didn't start off great for the Toronto. Well, it did start off great. At the bottom of the first inning, Corey Dickerson, again, an RBI single. George Springer comes in to score to give the Jays a 1-0 lead. But then the wheels fall off for Hyunjin Ryu. JD Martinez doubles to left field. Rafael Devers comes in to score off of, Gurriel with that misplay in left field. Not only does he try and pick it and it goes off his glove, he got a little lazy getting to the ball, allowing Devers to round third and head home. Then he tries to throw him out. It's a wide throw, and that allows Martinez to head to third. Just an ugly play all around for Lourdes Gurriel, and it gives the Red Sox it ties the game at 1. Then Kevin Plawecki comes up, and he drills a single, scoring JD Martinez, giving the Red Sox the lead. Now it's 2-1. Then Kike Hernandez hits an RBI single. Plawecki comes in to score. They now have a 2-run lead. It's 3-1 Red Sox, and the Jays just not doing well here early on, right? And then the next inning, the top half of the third inning, Kevin Plawecki up again. He hits an RBI double. Bogarts comes in to score. And now it's a 4-1 Red Sox lead. And still, the Jays offense still hasn't done anything to this point, because you look at that doubleheader yesterday, and in 18 innings, they combined for 2 runs. That's not like this Blue Jays team. So they had to get their offense going through the first couple innings. All they had was the RBI signal from Dickerson. They got to get back into the flow of things. Bottom half of the third inning, Teoscar Hernandez, it's an RBI single. George Springer comes in to score, making it a 4-2 ball game. Good stuff. But what I always say, you want a 0 right after your team, scores you run to tie a game, get back into a game, whatever. Problem, top half of the fourth inning, JD Martinez, it's an RBI single. Bogarts and Kike Hernandez come in to score. Then Plawecki, it's another single. He had 3 hits in the game through the first 4 flipping innings. Devers comes in to score. And they're just tacking on runs at this point. It's a 7-2 Red Sox lead. And we're sitting here like, are we actually going to get a split out of this series? How good they played against Kansas City, how good they played against Cleveland, how they won the first 2 games of this series, and we're talking about this team possibly splitting this, that would have been an ugly finish to this series, because then you head on the road to take on the Angels, and those are late games. This team's going to have a tough time out there. So you got to find a way to take care of business, but you're down 7-2. Bottom half of the 5th inning, Vladdy comes up, and he stays on that breaking ball from Garrett Richards. Down and out of the strike zone, but he gets down, gets it, golfs it out of the ballpark. Homer number 35 for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Reese McGuire comes in to score. It's a 7-4 ball game, but again, it's already the bottom of the 5th, and then in the next half inning, Bobby Dalbec hits an RBI single. JD Martinez comes in to score, and they got one of those 2 runs right back. It's 8-4. You're down by 4 runs in the 6th inning. It's not looking too good, right? Bottom half of the 7th inning, the Jays try and start chipping away at things. Marcus Semien hits a sacrifice fly, scoring George Springer. And Teoscar Hernandez hits an RBI single. Vladdy scores. It's 8-6, but again, you're still down a couple runs here, and you're running out of time. Bottom half of the 8th inning. How many times have we said the bottom of the order getting on base is so important? And I've been hearing all over the place, Espinal should be playing over Valera, this and that. I got to say, as much as I've loved Espinal this year, I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be a great player for this team for quite some years. Breyvic Valera has filled in quite nicely. And him and McGuire get on base in the bottom half of the 8th inning with 2 out and a 2-2 count. 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Matt Barnes throws a fastball in the bottom quadrant of the zone to George Springer. Oh, it's the summer of George. And he belts one to left center field, and everyone's thinking, no way, this can't be happening, because it's gone. And the Jays have a 9-8 lead. Are you kidding me? They score 5 runs in the 7th and the 8th to take a 1-run lead. Incredible stuff. And all you need is 3 outs to get out of it and to win the series 3-1. Then you're only 3 games back of the Red Sox. If you lost this game, you'd be back to being 5 back of them, and it's just a completely different scenario. And the Jays hang on. Romano goes 1-2-3 in the 9th. And with the Yankees losing as well, we're only half a game back of the Yankees. Oakland keeps winning, but so do the Blue Jays, and they're I think they're 3 up on the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken. We're right there, Jays fans, and we're right there on Boston, too. Only 3 games back of them. The Jays went out there, and they did a job. Now, as I mentioned, they hit the road against the Los Angeles Angels. They got a doubleheader starting tomorrow, or no, on Tuesday, excuse me. But let's take a look back at the first homestand for the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, you welcome in Kansas City. Not a very good team. You lay a beat down on them, you win all 3. As you should have, but they did a job. The fans were there, they were jacked up, the players were jacked up, you ran all the adrenaline, and you did a job. You welcome in Cleveland. You lose game 1 in extra innings, and it's a heartbreaker, and it sucks. But the great thing about baseball, you can go out there the next day, and if you're a good team, you can find a way to right the ship and start a new winning streak. What do they do after that? They win 3 more. They win the series 3-1 against Cleveland. They were 6-1 in the first 2 series. You're doing great. Now you have the massive series against the Red Sox. You win the first 2, so you're on a 5-game win streak. You're kicking everyone's tail in at home. You're in a great spot trying to catch the Red Sox. You lose game 1 of the opener. The finale of the doubleheader there last night, and it really hurts. And they go out today, and they put on this sort of performance. Incredible stuff. You won 3 out of 4 against the Red Sox. You won 3 out of 4 against Cleveland. You swept the Kansas City Royals. They've gone out there and they have done a job. The Jays are 9-2 since coming back to Rogers Center. And as I mentioned, Jays fans, you can start looking at that standings list when we were about 10 games over. With the win this afternoon against the Boston Red Sox, the Jays are 60-50 on the year. 10 games over the 500 mark. I just gave you a little bit of a standings update. Don't expect the Tampa Bay Rays to fall off because they're playing teams like the Orioles, and I'm watching it's pretty crazy. And you look at the Texas Rangers schedule, at least the next couple series for them. My God, they play Texas twice. That team is atrocious, and there's a team in between there, and they're awful too. All the Jays can do is focus on themselves. Now, before we talk about that series and who's going in the doubleheader on Tuesday, let's break down the final stats from this crazy game this afternoon against the Boston Red Sox. George Springer went 2 for 4 in the ball game. I mean, obviously one of them was the giant one for, but he found a way to get on base as well. He was 2 for 4. He scored 4 runs in the game. He had 3 RBIs, obviously on the 3-run bomb, obviously the home run, and he just sprinkled in a walk there for good measure. Vladdy, great to see Vladdy getting back into the swing of things. I really believe, and they mentioned on the broadcast today, that he might be trying to do too much. Right, obviously in Buffalo and Dunedin, he's going out there and doing his thing. He's hitting .330. We're all like, this guy's an MVP. Comes back here. He's hearing the MVP chants. He sees he's batting top in the lineup. Everyone's loving him. He's expecting himself to do so much more than he really needs to do. And I think we saw it today, and we saw it sprinkle in over the last few days. Vladdy, he's got to take a step back and think, okay, look, I'm back home. Let me just be me. And that's what he was today. 2 for 4, scored 2 runs. Obviously, the 2-run bomb, then he hit the home run, and he walked once. He got on base 3 of the 5 times he came to the plate. That is more like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Great to see him back. Great to see him back in the swing of things now that you're going to hit the road for quite a bit. All right? Teoscar Hernandez went 3 for 4 in the game with a couple of RBIs. Obviously, it's going to go unnoticed, but a 3 for 4 game for Teo. Great job for him. And the bottom of the lineup, as I mentioned earlier on, you got to have those guys go out there, and if they can find a way to get on base for George Springer and Vladdy and Hernandez, Bo Bichette went healthy. Obviously, he was day-to-day today. And Marcus Semien as well. It's wonders what it does for your team. Breivik Valera went 2 for 4 in the ballgame today, scored one of the runs to help the Jays win the ballgame. Reese McGuire, yeah, he went 0 for 2 in the game, but he walked twice, and both times he got on, he came around to score. If that bottom of the lineup can do a job, whether it's Espinal, whether it's McGuire, whether it's Valera, whether it's Biggio when healthy, whether it's Gurriel if they have him low in the lineup, whatever, it does absolute wonders for this team. Now, let's get to the pitching staff quickly before we preview the doubleheader and call it a night, all right? Hyunjin Ryu was not good. I think we can all agree Ryu did not have his stuff today. 3 2/3. He allowed 10 hits, 7 runs, walked 1, and only had the 1 strikeout. We saw him in his last outing against Cleveland. He had 7 strikeouts over 7 innings, I believe. Or 8 over 7 or 6 over 7 innings. Something along those lines, which was great. The fact that he couldn't get out of the 4th inning today and only had the 1 strike and allowed 10 hits and 7 runs. Ugly. Now, 2 of those obviously came off of a Patrick Murphy pitch when he threw a hanging curveball to JD Martinez, scoring 2 runs. But either way, you can't keep putting them on the base. All right. Patrick Murphy did go an inning and a third today, allowed 3 hits. One of them, obviously, the big 2-run single. But he only allowed 3 hits total, no hits, no walks, no runs allowed by him, and didn't get a strikeout in the ball game. And Kirby Snead had a tough one, an inning and 2/3, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. And when it all felt bleak at that point, right? It all felt like it was over, just trying to get some guys some work in, whatever the case may be. Then it started to get a little dicey, right? You get it down to an 8-6 game, and you can see the trust for Rafael Dolis going up and up. And I looked at his stats after this game today. He went an inning and 2/3, allowed 1 hit and struck out 2, didn't walk a batter today. He was great. He is not, I understand people say, well, he's just stressful to watch, and he wasn't great in his last outing. The guy is not allowed to run in over a month. So I understand that, when you watch him live, he's a disaster. No doubt. I'm not disagreeing with you. But if I'm looking at numbers, as people love to, and Charlie loves the numbers, he has not given up a run in over a month. Take that in. It's crazy. Like I said earlier, he went an inning and a third, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, and picked up the win. And Jordan Romano, all the talks lately, is he a closer? Is he a guy that can lock this thing down? Whatever the case, he was great again today. In a moment where, if that thing imploded, it would have just destroyed this team. Right? Because you take the 9-8 lead, everyone's pumped up, you go out there in the 9th, you blow it. I mean, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. But when he goes out there and gives up no hits, no walks, and strikes out 2 batters to end the ball game, to pick up the save, and to put the Jays at the 10-game over 500 mark, they win 3 of 4 against the Red Sox. Boston Red Sox lane is in absolute shambles right now. They cannot put 2 wins together to save their life no matter what happens. They won a 1-run ball game 2-1 yesterday. They lost 1-0, and then they get their bats going like today, and they still lose 9-8. Jays fans, we caught them at the right time, but we did a job, and that's huge, all right? Now, let's move on, because as much as we can talk about how great this series was, you got to keep moving, Jays fans. All right, we're at that, 110 game mark, I believe. You got... What is it now? 52 games remain. Lots of baseball to play. You're only 3 back of Oakland. You're half a back of the Yankees. You're 3 back of the Red Sox. You are right there. You just got to keep going out there every single game and dropping W's in the win column, all right? So the doubleheader on Tuesday against the Los Angeles Angels in LA. It starts at 6:07. It's the first pitch of Game 1. Chris Rodriguez gets the ball for the Angels, and Steven Matz gets the ball for the Blue Jays. Jose Suarez and Ross Stripling gets the ball for the Blue Jays in Game 2. That's a 10:07 first pitch. Jays fans, get ready for some light ones, because that's what you're going to get in the West Coast, and it's another big series for this team. Every game moving forward is a big game, right? A doubleheader, if you can find a way and go in there and win both games, hey, it puts you in a great spot. Now, Rodriguez and Suarez, you look at the numbers, they're not bad. Steven Matz and Stripling, I think we can all agree, out of the 6 pitchers we're firing out there, they're probably our worst guys, even though Ryu's been struggling. But overall, I think we can all agree that they're not, the most consistent, the guys we trust the least, how we put it that way. But Matz was great in his last outing. Stripling was fantastic in his last outing. Let's keep this thing rolling, fellas, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You enjoyed the video, and you enjoyed the game today, and not the one yesterday, because who cares about that one? Who loved this game today? Smack that like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys are not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video. Your thoughts on the games, plural, but more or less today's game, because, like I said earlier, who cares about the 2-1 extra innings loss? Because we don't as Jays fans. All right? Twitter's down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM to that great stuff, guys. The Instagram link is down below, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Jays Edition, obviously on Tuesday night. Maybe, depending on how work goes, I might not be working Wednesday, so if that's the case, then Wednesday, technically be Wednesday morning, but a really late Tuesday night, as the Jays play the doubleheader against the Los Angeles Angels. Chris Rodriguez and Steven Matz, 6:07 first pitch is Game 1. Jose Suarez, Ross Stripling is Game 2, 10:07 first pitch there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the game. We'll talk to you guys then.